to actually pick up on most of the somewhat complex program, and we find even experienced people making regular problems. We're talking about the immigration compliance policy that we recommend every company have, particularly medium-large companies. What to do with the discovery of I-9 fraud? What do you do if you discover fake documents? And, of course, the new one, which is actually very, very scary, is the identity theft issue, because in many instances when somebody produces identity theft with fake documents, you don't know that this is not the real Bernie Wolfstorff. You do not know this is the real TL. They present what appear to be legitimate documents, but the person who claims to be who he or she is in fact not that individual, and often you will get some other disgruntled U.S. citizen or permanent resident contacting the company claiming to be the real Bernie Wolfstorff, and that certainly puts you on alert, at which point you are required to investigate. What to do with mergers, acquisitions, and restructuring in today's modern world? We find that this is a regular event. It does present complex issues. The critical element is that you should, in fact, re-I-9 prior to a merger. Of course, as TL mentioned, the companies never do that, and one ends up with some liability. Social Security mismatch or no-match letters, what to do when you receive one of those. We've had a slight hiatus for the last year or two. They haven't been sent out. We do anticipate the possibility of these coming up again, and if you receive them, there are concerns that the receipt of a Social Security no-match letter puts the employer on notice that a certain number of employees, as listed in that notice, are in fact not authorized to be employed. The compliance policy needs to indicate that harsh and strict action needs to be taken in terms of investigation if these letters come, and there's a different type of no-match letter that's actually sent to the worker. This is when somebody buys a fake Social Security card and the number just doesn't match the name, or there's some other error in the database. What do you do in that particular framework? Constructive knowledge. I briefly mentioned the term constructive knowledge, and it's something that I'm going to spend a little bit of time on because it is one of these complex legal terms, but the old framework for the I-9, and many years ago it would be, sort of hear no evil, see no evil, sort of framework, and the so-called Sonny Bono Amendment. Well, technical violations, how we're supposed to be experts. This stuff is all complex. I didn't know a passport card's now acceptable, and that an expired document is not acceptable. And the government takes this new concept, or well, it's not a new concept, but the government's current focus is constructive knowledge. The term knowing includes not only actual knowledge. Now, actual knowledge is when somebody comes in and says, look, I'm an illegal, I'm an undocumented individual, I do not have work authorization, would you please sponsor me for a green card? Well, you have actual knowledge. The person just told you they don't have permission to be employed, and that is actual knowledge. That's not constructive knowledge. But also knowledge which may be fairly inferred through the notice of certain facts and circumstances which should lead a person through the exercise of reasonable care to know what about a person's certain condition. So, somebody's got an Australian accent, somebody's got a South African accent. Does that mean you have constructive knowledge? And the answer is absolutely not. That means discrimination. The mere presence of an accent or so-called features, this person doesn't look American. That's going to get you into serious discrimination problems. So you have to focus on the totality of the circumstances, and even the fact that the person does not speak English is not in itself a ground. However, it could, together with other circumstances, be seen as come on, you obviously knew. But this is very, very dangerous and difficult circumstances as you walk the narrow road between discrimination and actual knowledge that that individual. Do not assume that someone who doesn't speak English is not, in fact, a permanent resident. It's not a requirement to in fact, speak English. Constructive knowledge. Failure to take reasonable steps to address